Hello, my name is Asmaa and I'm a cybersecurity analyst. My job is to protect organizations from cyber threats by monitoring their system around the clock and when something goes wrong, figuring out what happened and stopping it. I work in a security operations center or a SOC. It's essentially a dedicated team of analysts whose job is to watch over an organization's entire digital environments around the clock, monitoring everything that moves across the network and looking for anything that shouldn't be there. My job specifically is to find threats before they have a chance to cause real damage. That means spending a lot of time monitoring network traffic, analyzing logs, and investigating security alerts. When something looks off, I dig into it, piece together what's actually happening, and make sure the right people know about it and that it gets dealt with. And today, I'll be answering your question from my inbox. How would you explain your job to friends or family who don't know anything about cybersecurity analysis? So my job is about investigating suspicious activity inside systems, strange logins, unusual files, malware alert, blocked connections, or accounts behaving in a way they normally do not. So my job is not just to say this is bad, it is to answer what happened, how far did it go, what systems were touched, and what should we do now. Next question. Whenever I ask my family or friends about career path, they tend to recommend women-dominated field. I am 17, female for context. What sort of challenges did you face trying to break into a male-dominated field? That's a very interesting question, and one challenge is that you can feel watched more closely when you are the only woman or one of the few women in a technical space. Sometimes people assume confidence means competence, so quieter people can be underestimated. What helped me was not trying to sound like everyone else, but becoming very clear when I explain technical evidence. What did the interview process look like for you? Which part of the process would you recommend people try the most and which the least? So the interview in cybersecurity is often scenario-based. They may give you a phishing email, a suspicious login, a PowerShell alert, or a vulnerable web application and ask how you would investigate. And for technical role, you may also get a small capture the flag TTF type challenge like reading log, finding the attack path, or identifying what vulnerability was exploited. I would prioritize hands-on practice, understanding attack surface, checking the right log, explaining your reasoning, and showing how would you detect, contain, and report the incident. Next question. How do you build a picture of what normal looks like on a network so that you can actually spot when something is off? So usually, building normal is by asset rule, not by treating the whole network the same. So a domain controller, a web server, a backup server, or a student laptop should not have the same login patterns, protocols, or processes, or even external connections. What becomes suspicious, it's not just a bad tool, but a tool or behavior that does not fit the machine, the user, the time, or the business function. A public web server normally receives many external connections, but if the volume suddenly spikes, requests come from many unusual sources, or the same endpoint is hit thousands of times per second, what may indicate is a denial of service, or what we call a DOS or distributed DOS attack. For a SOC analyst, the question is not only, is there a lot of traffic, but the question is this traffic expected for this specific service, this time, this source, and this type of request? Next question. When you are looking at a sea of alerts or any given day, how do you decide what's actually worth investigating versus what's just noise? That is a very good question because in a SOC environment, alerts go through what we call triage. We do not investigate everything equally. We rank alerts based on risk, asset criticality, user privilege, detection confidence, and whether multiple signals connect together. A single failed login may be noise, but failed logins followed by successful login, NFA change, PowerShell execution, and an outbound traffic become a real investigation. Has there ever been a case where the logs were telling you one thing, but your gut was telling you something different? And how did you work through that? Yes, I have seen cases where the first event was just a normal looking successful login, so it did not look very critical by itself, but the context was wrong. New location, unusual time, then inbox rule creation, or very suspicious file access. That is when you realize the log was technically true but incomplete. The investigation comes from correlating identity log, mailbox audit logs, endpoint activity, and network traffic. Next question. How do you stay on top of new threats when the landscape changes so fast? How often do people get fired for not being able to keep up? So a SOC analyst is not alone in deciding everything. There are detection rules, severity levels, playbook, and escalation paths already defined by full team. So in the case of a new threat appears, the SOC analyst looks at whether the organization is exposed, whether the right logs are collected, or a new rule is needed, and whether some alerts should be triggered at higher severity. With AI, attackers can generate phishing, automate recon, adapt exploit faster, so the SOC has to update detection and playbook more often. But the analyst role is still to validate the evidence, follow the escalation process, document clearly, and ask for help when the alert is outside their level. So people are not normally fired for not knowing everything. They get in trouble when they ignore serious evidence or do not escalate according to procedure. Was there a specific moment or case that made you feel like you actually belong in your role? So for me, it was not one perfect moment where I suddenly felt confident. It has been more of a learning path because cybersecurity changes all the time, and even experienced people have moments where they feel behind. As a woman in a technical field, I have felt imposter syndrome, but I learned that feeling unsure does not mean I do not belong. It means I need to keep learning, stay curious, ask better questions, and build confidence through practice. What is the biggest mistake you made early on, and what did it teach you? So my biggest mistake was probably being too hard on myself. I used to think that if I did not understand something quickly, it means I was behind or not good enough. But cybersecurity is a huge field and nobody knows everything. What I learned is that confusion is normal, but staying silent and stressing alone does not help. You learn faster when you ask, try, document, and keep going. So if a student watching this right now is thinking about going into cybersecurity, what's the one thing you want them to hear from you directly? Yes, so I will tell them, do not wait until you feel fully ready, because cybersecurity is a field where everyone is always learning. New technologies keep appearing, whether it is cloud, mobile apps, smart devices, AI, or autonomous cars, and every new system creates new things to protect. So I would put focus on being curious, learning the basics, asking questions, and building confidence step by step. You do not need to know everything to start, you just need to be willing to keep learning. And that's all of the questions that we have today. If there is one thing I hope you can take from this, is that there is no single path into this field. I didn't have everything figured out when I started, and honestly, nobody does. What matters is that you stay curious, keep pushing through the moments where you feel like you don't belong, and know that those moments don't last.